Good morning, everyone. Today we have Hannah, Phoebe, Tappy, and I'm Abraham. So today we're going to start with a song. My God is so big.
God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. The mountains are His, the rivers are His, the stars are His handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you.
The next song we're going to sing is the Bible.
The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God. The Bible, the Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God. The Bible, the Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God. The Bible.
Next, we're going to sing Seek Ye First.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Hallelujah.
The next song is 1, 2, 3, Jesus Loves Me.
1, 2, 3, Jesus loves me. 1, 2, Jesus loves you. 3 and 4, He loves you more than you've ever been loved before. 5, 6, 7, we're going to heaven. 8, 9, the mansion is mine. 9 and 10, it's time to end, but instead we'll sing it again. 1, 2, 3, Jesus loves me. 1, 2, Jesus loves you. 3 and 4, He loves you more than you've ever been loved before. 5, 6, 7, we're going to heaven. 8, 9, the mansion is mine. 9, 10, it's time to end. There's no time to sing it again.
Boys and girls, remember last week? God saved baby Moses. This week, we're going to learn about what happens when Moses grew up. Remember that the Israelites were working really hard for the Egyptians. They were suffering and sweating every day. So when Moses grew up, God told Moses, "Tell King Pharaoh to let my people go." God wanted the Israelites to go to a new land that God promised them. And the Bible tells us what happens next.
Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had given the Israelites the land of Goshen more than 400 years ago. But after he died, the new Pharaoh treated the Israelites really badly, and they made them his slaves, and they made them work really hard.
Look at the picture. All the Israelites are pushing the giant rock. They're working so hard, they're suffering, all because
God sent Moses and Aaron, Moses' brother, to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. Aaron told the Pharaoh, "If you don't let God's people go, God will send terrible plagues until you do."
But Pharaoh was so stubborn, and he wouldn't listen.
A plague? What's a plague? Tappy, do you know?
Yes, a plague is something that causes a lot of pain or destroys things or even causes death.
Whoa, that's just like the coronavirus in the world right now. That's crazy.
For 7 long days, God turned all of Egypt's rivers and drinking water into blood. The fish died, and the smell was disgusting.
You.
But Pharaoh refused to obey God. This was the first plague.
Look at all the blood. How can anyone swim or drink water? They must have been so thirsty if all the water was blood.
After the first plague, Aaron told King Pharaoh, "Let my people go and serve God, or God will send," what do you see in the picture? Frogs all over Egypt. The plagues of frogs were so annoying, and Pharaoh almost let the people go, but he changed his mind.
So after the second plague, God sent a plague of lice. Look at the picture. They're tiny bugs that make you really itchy. So everyone in Egypt was itching and scratching. Even Pharaoh's wise men said it was the work of God. But Pharaoh was still too stubborn to listen.
For the fourth plague, God sent swarms of bugs all over Egypt. But remember Goshen, the land where the Israelites were? There were no flies at all there. Isn't that crazy? The plague of the bugs was so bad that Pharaoh had to go ask Moses and Aaron to come talk to him.
So God made sure that the Egyptians were the ones that had all the flies and they were harmed. But he kept the Israelites safe and they had no flies.
So Pharaoh told Moses and Aaron, "You can go a little way into the countryside to worship your God, only if you ask your God to take the flies away." But when the flies left, Pharaoh changed his mind again.
Pharaoh still wouldn't let the people go. So God sent another plague. This time, it was to make all the Egyptian cows sick. And all the Egyptian people got hungry. But God protected the children of Israel again, and none of the children of Israel's cows got sick at all.
So Moses asked Pharaoh again to let the people go. But Pharaoh still said, no. So for the sixth plague, God sent sores and boils, or red little painful bumps on Pharaoh and the Egyptians. Look at his face. And they felt very sick and sore, but Pharaoh would not change his mind.
When Pharaoh said that he would not let the Israelites go, God sent down huge balls of ice called hail and fire, and it fell on people and animals and plants and trees. Look at how much it hurts that person when it falls on their head. But this only happened to the Egyptians. The Israelites did not get the balls of ice or the fires. This was the seventh plague.
How many more are there?
Pharaoh still did not let God's people go. So God sent a great swarm of locusts. You see that green bug over there? They ate everything that was green and good to eat, but they did not eat the crops of the Israelites. This was the eighth plague.
Pharaoh still wouldn't change his mind. So God sent a thick, black darkness all over the land of Egypt. But the children of Israel had light in their homes, and they didn't have darkness at all. Hey, who turned off the lights? I can't see a thing. Where'd you guys go? Ow! Oh, wow. This is really hard. I think the Egyptians really didn't like this.
So the darkness in the land was the 9th plague. So after all those plagues, Pharaoh would still not let the Israelites leave. So God had one last plague in mind. But you'll have to wait till next week to hear about it.
In today's story, we saw that Moses was speaking for God when he asked the Pharaoh so many times to let my people go. So Abraham, what song are we going to sing now?
We're going to sing, "Let My People Go."
When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Hello, Pharaoh, let my people go.
I have a question. Why did God use these plagues?
Yeah, they seem so scary and mean.
God gave Pharaoh many chances to let God's people go. God showed that he was the one true God and that he has control over everything. God loves his people so much that he was willing to do anything to save the Israelites. Do you remember what Pharaoh's reaction was after every plague?
Indeed I do. I remember Pharaoh wanted the plagues to stop, but he wouldn't let the Israelites go.
That's right. Pharaoh's heart was so hard, like a rock, and he wouldn't budge and wouldn't let the Israelites go. Because Pharaoh's heart was so hard, the Israelites and the Egyptians and we can see God's power.
Wow, what a cool story. My favorite part was that God only allowed the plagues to affect the Egyptians, but he protected the Israelites from the plagues, and none of them went to the land of Goshen.
It was like there was a force field around their homes.
Yeah, kind of like a force field, but it was God's hand protecting them instead.
Even though we have a plague right now that seems so scary,
The coronavirus.
God's hand will still protect us because he loves his children.
We love seeing all your pictures of baby Moses and baby Moses' sister and the princess from last week. Let's take a look at them right now.
Beautiful.
Wow!
Looks good.
So nice.
There's baby Moses.
There's the princess.
You know what to do. After this story of the 9 plagues, draw a picture and have your mom and dad send it in to us. We can't wait to see what you're going to send in. And don't forget to watch next week for the last plague. Bye!
Bye-bye.